We have Marcus from Vionlabs here as the next, and this is going to be exciting because we have a swap of decks, right?
Yes.
Let's see how it goes. Take it away.
Yeah, so thank you. I'm here to introduce Vionlabs and a little robot, AINAR, that should be jumping. There you go. So first of all, I need to ask, how many people are happy with the recommendations they receive in streaming services? Whew. It would be so bad if you all raised your hand. Okay. So what we at Vionlabs has done is built an end-to-end platform that tries to understand video the way we as humans do. And if we can do that, then we can transform the experience that you have in streaming services globally. So we built this entire end-to-end platform using the amazing tools of AI platform Vertex AI. And the first layer of neural nets that we have built is looking at the audio and the video file itself, trying to extract these thousands of data points of what's going on in there. Examples of these data points are colors, stress levels, sound effects, everything that is there to affect our emotions and affect the way we feel when we watch content. And we extract all these things as time series, because one of the things that is really important for us is to understand how these things changes over time. To make something sound very simple, but was really painfully hard to get done, I think we lost our hair and broke a few backs on the way, is that we're able to summarize all this information into a single feature vector. So we go from all these gigabytes of information into a single embedding, or what we refer to as a fingerprint. So we basically summarize an entire movie in 1088 dimensions. This sounds super funky for us as humans, because unfortunately we can only visualize 3. But this is what a content library of fingerprints looks like. So each dot here represents a piece of content. It could be a movie or a series. So the AI is basically creating a mind map. So we're asking today AI to cluster content based on emotional similarity, because we need to know that the AI has understood what it's watching. And what we can clearly see is that one of the clusters the AI identified is emotionally inspiring underdog sports movies. The AI have also found, something for my son, modern family cartoons. I should not watch this together with him when I'm watching violent and dark animation. My favorite cluster? Crappy horror with sharks. And we're going to come back to this. But then creepy and scary. So the AI can really understand a very wide variety of content, all the way from documentaries to that sad movie that you turn on when it's raining outside. The second thing that we do is that we ask the AI to describe back to us in words what it just has seen. Because it's pretty diffuse when it's looking at the fingerprints. So today AI can use a vocabulary of about 40 different genres and subgenres, 1,500 keywords, 700 mood tags, and we also created some AI editorial lists. So this description can happen both on a scene level and a title level, and we'll dig in a little to that. But how have we taught an AI to understand the mood of a movie and emotions? Well, we leverage a psychological model called valence, arousal, and dominance. It's one of the prevailing psychological models to measure human response to imagery and sound. So we have sourced thousands of people from all over the globe, having them rate smaller clips and sequences based on the rating system from this model that we built, and then kept feeding this information back into the model. And over time, the AI starts picking up as we as humans react to certain happenings inside of the movie or a series, etc. And the output, the raw output, I'll talk a little bit about how we use it later, is what you're seeing in front of you, which is basically the emotional timeline of the masterpiece that's a Dumb and Dumber 2. This is not a very emotionally complex movie, right? So it's a lot of surprise and enjoyment. There is a sad scene in there, and there is a bonus for anybody who can name what that sad scene is afterwards. But this type of data, as we use it from a time series standpoint, we can use it in a lot of different ways, because now we understand how the mood changes over time. But why we like to highlight this, and the problem with this, is that all these 4 movies you see in front of you here, which is crappy horror with shark, which is Sharknado, The Terminal, and Rain Man, according to traditional tagging methodology, these are all comedies. But if you watched all these movies, you could tell. But from just looking at the emotional data, we know that they're very different. Like Sharknado has a lot of fear and disgust in it. I mean, it's all over the place. So it's one of those that are so bad they become funny. Whereas the Terminal and Rayman are more sort of emotionally complex dramas with some comical elements into it. So when our AI describes back to us in words what it just has seen, it's not just producing the tag, it also adds a value to the tag, so that we can understand where on the spectrum of comedy the Sharknado plays. So, Sharknado is a comedy, but the score and how much comedy it is far less than something like Dumb and Dumber. So the tags that we produce for Sharknado is very different also. So, it's rescue, escape, shark attack. The mood tags, the sort of feeling of this movie is survival, adventurous, and it's a high-energy sci-fi. Versus Dumb and Dumber, it's a lighthearted and funny comedy. One of those things you turn on when you just want to laugh. You don't want a complex story about relationships. So the first part of the data we're using, and I'll show you a very specific use case, but a lot of that data is used to enhance recommendations so that we really understand deeply what you have watched. But one of the things, one of the areas that we implement this technology today is also to make advertisement in video much more efficient. So the first thing that we do is that we find the optimal place of where you can insert an ad, because you don't want an ad in the middle of an action scene or in the middle of a dialogue. The second thing that we do is we describe what happened in the scene leading up to that ad. Thank you. Because, today cookies are kind of disappearing, GDPR and a lot of privacy legislations are being implemented, so it's getting really hard to target based on person. So first of all, I'm going to ruin a movie for you. It's an excellent movie. I apologize in advance. But this is the movie The Dirt, which is a biography of Mötley Crüe. So in the first half of this movie, the theme is very rebellious, sort of upbeat. So true story is when I watched this movie, I was actually Googling for Harley Davidson and thinking about should I buy a motorcycle? Spoiler alert, second half of the movie, it's not a great time to buy a Harley Davidson. There's a lot of drug overdose, the band falls apart. It's actually a car crash scene. So for Harley Davidson to be inserted after the car crash scene would probably be a really bad brand experience. So instead here, you probably should give me a life insurance commercial. But one of the things that we've talked a lot about when it comes to when I asked you about recommendations initially, so there's a lot of focus of using the algorithms to sort of present the best title to you, like what do you want now? It's a really, really hard problem. The problem is that sometimes it's not about you telling me what I want. Sometimes it's about me telling you what I want and you knowing me so you understand what I'm saying. So I think we can all recognize ourselves in the behavior of I'm really tired of scrolling up and down, going into 5, 6, 7 different apps, can't find what to watch. I probably know what I want, but there's just no way of finding it. So the emotion or the feeling I think we all have is, can't we just tell someone what it is that we want to watch? And to the savior, or to the rescue, comes AINAR. So what we built is our own sort of video-to-text translation interface so that you can interact directly with our AI in a much more sort of natural way, so that even the bad English of me and my founder, Arash, will be understood. So as an example, you can ask it to give me inspirational basketball stories, and the AI will return these to you. You can make much more complex prompts, such as give me fast-paced car movies with high speed and explosion, and the AI will find these. It can also give very sort of emotionally complex prompts, such as gripping stories about human struggle and comeback, and the AI will return it. You can also give it sort of fine-tune what you're looking for, such as, give me something less emotional and more feel-good, and the AI will then understand what you want. So you can really interact with an AI that, first of all, understands who you are and what your base preferences are, but also in an interactive manner, you can figure out what you want. Lastly, it's very hard to determine if you want to watch something just from looking at a poster. So of course, you want a little good sneak peek of it. So with our emotional AI, we can lift up a very iconic scene to give you a feeling what it is that you're about to watch. So as a summary slide, I'm going to skip it because I know we only have 2 minutes left. But that's what we do at Vionlabs. Thank you for listening.
Wonderful. No, that's amazing. Since we almost have 2 minutes left, I'm going to use the opportunity to ask a few questions to all of you, because this is no miss opportunity for us in the audience. Dennis, let's start with you. So you talked a lot about predicting human behavior and using that for marketing, marketing purposes and so on. What's your take on the responsible AI or the ethics of AI?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing because with that power we can also manipulate either like democracies or political opinions or for dark patterns. So I think we in Neurons have taken an approach from the get-go of having like ethical board and really invest and figure out where are our limits and how do we also ensure diversity in our data set and all these type of things. So I think a lot of AIs are going to face that when they kind of start looking deeper into what the applications really are. So I think it's important to start thinking about what are the potential responsibilities or applications you need to have, and we've taken that from very early stage.
Thank you. Adrian, you talked about what if prompt could be, an app could be a prompt. What's your next big thing?
I think now that we've landed Series A funding, we will focus on the expansion to new markets, but we will focus just as much on making the Gen AI and LLMs explainable so we can use it more in our application, and we will most probably double down on upskilling our workforce as well as implementing new product features.
Thank you. Marcus, why Google?
4 seconds. We moved from AWS to Google because it saved us 50% less code that we had to write in Python, because we could use BigQuery, we could use Bigtable, we could use a lot of the managed services. So it actually saved us a huge amount of customization code, which is, time is money. So short answer.
Wonderful. Hey, let's give a big hand to these amazing 3 gentlemen. Next here on this stage is data governance. So that is happening in 10 minutes, right? Yes, perfect. So be here. This is the place to be. It's another important topic.